The third thing now, special, with the January Go4s, the top 2 teams placing in the weekly Go4s will be qualifying for the qualifier for the WTS Plus. a pre-qualifier.
For the qualifier.
Qualifier for the qualifier. Yeah, Inception qualifier. So, yeah, a lot of stuff on the line, and we are going to start immediately with the quarterfinals. And there we have SPL versus Salt.
We do indeed, and we can actually go into the game and check out the builds. It's awesome. Awesomeness.
So, do you want to start us off?
I will. Let's go over to the red team. Have a look at Chunji. Mr. Chunji, the special master. Actually opting to go with today Throw Mine. Just having a look at that. But I'm going to have a look for the rest of the build, which has changed significantly. He's taken those points out of inventions, has actually put them into speedy kits and into forceful explosives by the looks of things, and then going for the extra point in the inventions and tools. So he's getting that inertial converter, so the recharge on toolbox skills is reduced, and also automated medical response, which is very good for survival because your heal does recharge when you hit 25% health, which is very good depending on what runes and stuff he's using as well. It could be a nice amount of synergy. He's gone for a sigil of leeching on the rifle as well as energy, still going with the soldier's amulet and still going with the melandry rune, which is very survivable, especially if he's going to be on point versus 2 players, opting for the flamethrower, the toolkit, and actually the throw mine. So not a massive amount of damage, although flamethrower was buffed in the biggest patch recently, and so that's going to be quite good for them. He's still going to be quite survivable.
Throw mine, he had throw mine once, so again with the decapping this time, a bit of a change.
I think they're buffing that as well. As I remember reading through the notes, they're doing something with throw mine.
Maybe planning for the future.
Yeah, they're making... Yeah, exactly. So people are going to start doing that and practicing with stuff they're going to be using now. That's really annoying, that noise. Curve is actually playing the Dagger Elementalist 00266. We know this build, condition removal, combo fields on point, and also a lot of pressure in terms of building up the damage over time for him and the rest of his team. Going over to Guns and Tools is currently in the downstate.
But I think we can kind of see what he's going for, even in downstate.
Yes, indeed. Just something happened there. Right. He's just going for the standard meta in terms of his build. Actually, no. He's going for Ruin of Balthazar. He's going for a more condition-orientated build. So he's gone for Pistol Shield, and he's actually gone for 60062. He is fiery. He was playing Fiery Sin, the Fresh Air Elementalist, which was what he was before, and now he's playing this. So he's gone for Elixir S toolkit and also grenade kits. Much with Zerx, he's going to be playing Sharp Warrior. Going for the not the shake it off, sorry. On my mark instead of the Fear Me trait. Of course, he's playing 00464, which is standard, going for that extra support with the battle standard as well. That is, of course, Sword Warhorn with the longbow as well, as the Soldier's Amulet, of course. Rune of the Soldier to get all those conditions removed and whatnot. And then going over to Dipset, he's going to be playing... Did you come up with a name for this in the end?
Let's just call it Spirit Survival.
Spirit Survival, there we go. 2 spirits.
Or we could also call it Spirit Entangle. Because there isn't that much survival in there.
Entangled spirits.
Now we have the lightning reflexes, if I remember correctly. He was going with Earth something. Something else earlier, but now he has lightning reflexes.
And you were talking about the survival skills. He only ran 1 survival skill, and he had that big cooldown, but now he's gone with lightning reflexes. Did he have that before? No, he used the toughness signet.
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
right.
That one.
So now he's...
Signet of Earth, right?
I can't remember what it's called. Yes,
Damn.
Probably. But
probably we are probably going to be corrected in chat, so have a look at that.
Yeah, exactly. All good. So standard spirits, of course, and then the extra survival, and then going Condi route with the Rune of the Crate, of course, and Celestial Amulet. That is SPL next to Booty.
Okay,
The
having a
goosey.
look at
It's the goosey.
having a look at your goose is cooked or salt, as we're gonna call them, just to make it a bit simpler. First off, we have Quove. Quove is again going with, he's one of the few allies who's not running the Dagger. He's playing Celestial, but going to the Focus in the offhand. So what you would normally play, or what we have seen play, for example, Fiery Sin was playing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
In his Berserker build, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Focus in the offhand, and then we also have the Frostbow. And the Frostbow can hurt, especially if you have a big team fight and then a downstate. That is a really good thing to help with you keep the guys down and just keep the pressure up. I think Quove is pretty much the only one running Frostbow. Yes.
Yeah, at the moment, I think, yeah.
Oh, Signet of Stone. I am just being corrected. Not Earth, Stone.
Well.
Similar thing, but let's get it right after all. So, moving on to Kava. Kava is an engineer. He is playing a triple kit Celestial rifle build, opting for the Elixir gun there and the bomb kit.
Awesome. I think any different there, to be honest. Oh no! Yes. This actually, just to talk about this, this is more the NA style, but also I think this is going to be something that might get used a bit more when the patch comes live, and we're trying to stack might a bit more. I think this is going to be a bit more of the go-to build, to be fair, because you can stack might a bit easier. You can stack might easier with the bomb kit, but I think we're going to go to pistol shield. But that's something else. I'm not 100% sure. But this, I really like this build. It's very survivable with the protective shield there and the protective protection injection. Just because your uptime on protection is ridiculous, and it really helps. And it's going to help against a lot of these characters, obviously, on the other side. And obviously, he needs that extra protection to have the bomb kit to be on point. So that's very good survivable skill there.
Yeah. Moving on to Amsterdam. Amsterdam playing a Shout Warrior. One of two warriors on the team. He's playing the Shout variant with the battle standard, of course, in instant res. Not necessarily completely secure, because poison and a lot of damage on the corpse can negate that, and we have seen that happen. But we might also see a couple of situations where we see Amsterdam in Vengeance and just banner someone. That is always a nice move to see. Otherwise, nothing really surprising with there. Also running with On My Mark for the lower cooldown instead of Fear Me. Then we have Honey. Honey, of course, as always, playing the Staff Elementalist, going for the Pirate Rune there, Celestial, otherwise not really surprises. We can also mention that there is the Glyph of Elementals instead of the Fiery Greatsword. And last but not least, and then we can, I think, give these guys the ready up. We've got PhD in Stomponomics, and we have already seen that he is running a Condition Warrior. When did we see it? Was it the weekly or was it?
He's used it recently, yeah. I think it was the weekly. Yes, it was the weekly, because we just went through it. Oh, yeah. No, it was Go4.
It was Go4? Ah, okay.
Yeah. Me and
remember.
Caloris were trying to go for it, and we were just talking about it as we went through it.
This time nice. Rune of Awe. That is one I haven't seen in a while.
He used that as well.
Really? Did he?
Yeah.
The memory. The memories.
I remember it because it was so random, but it makes some sense, you know. That extra poison, the quickness is nice as well, as you hear my dogs going mental in the background.
Yeah.
All good.
As we are waiting for the ready ups of the teams, we have given them the command to get on with it, as we have wasted a lot of time, or well wasted I think it's a bit educational to go through the builds every once in a while, and we do see some changes here and there. For example, SPL now going back to the double engineer setup, going back to what they were running a bit earlier. I think the Fiery Sin version, that worked. But it was a bit specific. It worked really well against these... yes?
You're trying to think of a name for the teams that aren't TCG and 55, are you?
Well, let's say it kind of works against teams like TCG because of the Pain Train. You have a good point of aggression. But against Celestial comps, we've seen they are just lacking the damage. With this, a bit more knockback orientated, and if they get the decap, they are just going to stand on there and survive. So let's see what becomes of this match. We are in the quarterfinals of the Go4 SPL on the red side versus Sword on the blue one.
Well, cross already, but we've got stuff coming out from the blue team. 2 members going over there. See Amsterdam trying to engage on Much Woe Zerks over on the Henge now. We can see PhD trying to pick up that point. We have seen Honey jumping up to mid already, using that lightning flash to get up there. She's going to be versus 2 over on the mid. Guns and Tools entering the point now with Dipset coming up on the east side. And then going over to mine, we're going to see Chunji trying to challenge Carver to see if he can actually get that mine cap. Just 1 or 2 ticks left there. Chungi does the knockback. Quive comes in there as well with the Iceberg to try and put some nice damage on as we see the disengage from Carver over on the mine.
Iceberg that already. Nice immobilized now off point, of course, with the knock as well. Quoth, we have seen him, especially with that build again in 1v1s. Most of the time actually against engineers. That works quite well and seems to be working quite well now as well. So midpoint already capped. So the pressure on there seemed to be good. Now the pole Carver down. Can Honey get to him to get the res off? We do see the damage on him. Honey is trying. Supply crate dropping down. Guns and Tools eating a lot of damage, but the res is not going to be happening. And the 2 people can defend the midpoint quite easily. So Honey disengaging already, which is definitely the correct move.
Yeah, she didn't really have enough cooldown to... She didn't have Armor of Earth or anything up like that, so she couldn't really go for that res, actually, unfortunately. Amsterdam's gone down as well over on this point, so they're going to be okay for now. They're going to be able to pick up mine, hopefully, unless... Where's Chunji? Let's have a look at Chunji. Of course he's causing trouble over on the mine. He's just dodging around, line of sighting quite well. And really, blue team, probably not the best node to come into. They probably want to go for Henge and mid at the moment. Avoid Chunji like the plague because of the CC and the amount of annoyance that he's just causing the team.
Now we've seen the aggression. The midpoint defender Dipset went on to help on the mine node, and therefore the midpoint is open. We do see PhD on it, even with the immobilize. He manages to get on point, but Curve on there fast enough with a nice lightning flash on top of the keep. So now PhD in a bit of a uncomfortable situation here. I don't think he is going to be able to win that 1v1. Maybe with the assistance of Guns and Tools coming in from the side, going the long way around for some reason, maybe wanted to go for the mine, but those 2 seem to be just going for the neutral at the moment.
Yeah, we're having some big... picking up that point now. There we go. So Much Woe Zerks down over on that Henge node. This point over here, the mine is going to be contested forever. Chunji can just regenerate so much. He's got so much CC that if he gets in trouble, he can just CC, line of sight, come back off point, get Dipset on the node maybe. But Dipset really should be the main target on this point. Just leave Chungi alone. Get Dipset down, especially if Killer Spirits just AoE cleave on the point and get Dipset down. Then focus on Chunji. But unfortunately, this is the red team's spawn point node, so of course he will be respawning quite quickly, so if they don't kill Chunji fast, he's just going to be able to come back onto the point and probably contest it for as long as they want, really, to be honest.
But what is maybe a good move now is the aggression on the midpoint. We did see Guns and Tools trying to escape because he was pretty low on life. Nice dodge on the pullback there from Carver coming in. Curve down already. Guns and Tools can't go for the rest, so as soon as Curve is stomped, there will be a decap and potentially a cap on the midpoint already with the aggression. Chunji always kind of on his own, just walking through the map and trying to force people to commit with two of theirs to a point to get rid of him. Because in a 1v1, we've seen a lot of times he loses 1v1s, but it just takes way too long.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get the interrupts off, look, I mean, just look at him versus PhD at the moment. He's used that flamethrower to knock him off node. He's putting the mines down as well in between himself and the other players, so they have to be forced to dodge through or go around. So he's using his skills very well at the moment. I mean, it's annoying for the other player, but the thing is, over time, he can actually, if he's stacking his mic correctly as well, I mean, he can get some nice damage off in the end, as well as decapping, but it can take a while. And he's losing this fight to PhD because he's a Condi warrior. So that's the best matchup for Blue to put up against Chunji, is going to be PhD at the moment.
Yeah, and PhD, I think, can pretty much be sacrificed now. This is a really good moment for Blue, because they do have the strong defense in the midpoint, 2v2, and we see, well, from both teams, 2 people coming in from the side, so it is going to move into a 3v3. Dipsack coming in from the assistance. We have Honey currently just waiting on the mine. I don't really know what for. They should be seeing Dipset, and she could be quick enough. And they will... 3-cap. What? Really? Complete commitment to the midpoint.
PhD can take him. He did it, indeed. And blue team, yeah, I mean, red team, what's going on? I mean, they've got 2 players out of the fight. At the moment, they're 4v3 over on the mid. They can't kill anyone. PhD can go for the boss, get that free kill there. They switched the game around quite well, and blue are having some big problems here at the moment. I mean, they're pushing them off node as well when they were actually outnumbered, which they still are. Okay, Copper's down. He's been res. They're still in a 3v4 situation in terms of blue versus red, and now they are going to start losing.
Carver will go down, but just look at the lead they're picking up. Just a creature on the side. They are really giving up on the midpoint. 2 people just waiting up for it. Maybe now PhD should move to the mine, because we do have the decap there, but with the mine point, that is pretty much the problem point, and I think the red team will engage onto the mine point after they've cleared up the midpoint.
It's taken them a while though to move over to mid. I mean, they're 4-man regrouped there just for a minute. I mean, they can't do that in a 3-cap. It needs to be quicker, especially when there's only one person on the point at the time. They could have just moved on quicker. But you know, Chunji now over on that mine point could leave PhD really to deal with him, and Honey could go to mid and offer up some support. But they're doing okay. Red team have cleared up mid now as well. So we're actually going to see a disengage there of Kuive. And maybe PhD is going to go for the boss.
Oh, what? That is not a good idea, because the red team is definitely going to move for their own close spawn. The problem with the with the henge would of course be just the respawn from the people they killed a mid earlier. But I'm really just amazed by how they just managed to keep the midpoint for so long, keep neutral for so long afterwards. In a 2v4, they just rotated people in and out for the entire time, and 4 people of the red team weren't able to take them down for 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the issue. Their focus damage at the moment isn't as good. And if they maybe even had guns and tools on that build, on that Fresh Air Elementalist build that's been on recently, it might have actually been doing better. But, you know, it feels like the blue team have just got a lot more sustain in terms of the actual length of the fights. Of course, in that 3v4, that's kind of obvious. But, you know, I mean, that's how they're winning the game at the moment. The fights are quite long and elongated, even the 1v1s. But at the moment, blue are winning them, although presently, in this moment in time, PhD is being killed by a crocodile.
By a crocodile?
Or
the pet.
We'll call it a Madrid.
Well, yeah. So, what is Carver? Carver's really going for the midpoint now. Do they think they will lose any of the points? We again have the Amsterdam Chunji match up. Chunji is of course going to get the decap. Did he just? Yeah, he supply created on top of him to get that one with the knockbacks. That is just going to be annoying, but we've seen he is most likely going to win the 1v1 in the long run, and especially if PhD comes there.
Yeah, I mean, Amsterdam could just move now. He doesn't really need to be there, because PhD's winning these fights with Chunji, so he can move off and go to mid potentially to support over there. Maybe support Carver if he would so choose. But over on the mine, it just picked up a point for the red team, but they have got 1 node now. Both points contested, so looking a bit better for those guys. But as the blue team members respawn, of course, you know, they're going to have some trouble over on this end point.
Yeah, 3v2 currently on the henge, so Curve is going to go down in a second, and Chunji is retreating already. Yeah, Chunji, I just wanted to say, Chunji probably should go for their own close point, because somebody is going to go there sooner or later, if they can't get anywhere with a mid-fight.
Yeah, Honey's disengaging now to potentially think about going for him. Well, trying to disengage to get off that damage to get away from the damage from guns and tools. But wants to get on the point. Yes! Lightning Flash was good. Just as Amsterdam comes into the point, and Quivo's there as well. A lot of pressure now on the red team, and there's a 1v2 is changed into a 3v2 in their favour. Chunji coming on node as well now, as we do see much Wozerks trying to just jump away with that sword too to get away from Quiver and Amsterdam. They've got him focused down. Are they going to be able to take him down on point? No, the knockback comes out from
Dipset
Chunji,
is focused on the stomp just at the bottleneck there, and meanwhile PhD with the decap on the mine point. Dipset, even with the jumps, is not going to be fast enough on point, so that's going to be a long 1v1 there, and just keeping the point neutral, again extending the lead for the blue team. And even with the Frostbow, especially with the downed guns and tools, they will pick up the midpoint in just a matter of seconds.
Yeah, they should do now. I mean, much worse than obviously a lot of pain being dead on the floor. Curve is actually going to disengage here. I think that's a good idea, going over towards Dipset, maybe offer up him to support and to support for himself. But the blue team members are chasing him from behind. Not good for Curve as he tries to get away, although they does come into contact with Guns and Tools. Dipset's actually disengaging with very low HP here. Guns and Tools is looking towards Dipset to try and back him up. But a little mini GG has been called in map chat, so maybe we're going to see that happen.
GG?
Yeah, I'm going to say mini, just because it's like 400 to 200. They've got the 2 cap, 4 minutes left. It's not looking good for them. I think they're saying GG to each other. I'm not too sure. We'll keep going for now. I'll ask in the map chat.
Yeah, just ask for confirmation if that is actually a GG. But I think we might be able to call it already. We see a creature, PhD, again, really on the creatures. Quite not really that many teams are making that much use of the creatures on Niflheim anymore. It's mostly just a game deciding factor at the end. But there are very few situations lately, especially with the mobile teams going on at the moment, where you're safe enough to really do a creature.
Yeah, I mean, they've been getting them quite a lot, and they've sustained the fights long enough in the 3v4 that we saw earlier, which really was a big turning point. They couldn't kill them, even though Red Team had 4 members versus 3. And if they had, they could have capitalized on that and got the rest of the map, you know, waiting for those respawns. The whole team wipe is a big issue in GW2 sPVP, and it would have been a good point for them to come back in, but the lead was extended by that big fight. They kept the 2 side nodes. They even had 2 point holders at the time when they were just standing there for a minute or so. PhD did move in the end to get the boss. He wasn't there for that long, but Honey was over there for quite a long time. And to show that they can do that is good for them, but the Red Team need to get some more focus damage onto their targets a lot quicker, or at least maybe change up something.
Do they have the focus damage to put down on the target? Not really, and that is kind of why I'm not really that happy about the idea of 5 people committing to the midpoint and trying to clear that up, because we have seen, or 4, it was 4, we have seen 2 people, just, it took them so long to get them down. In the meantime, they could have, okay, was Chunji on a side point? I think so, but they should have committed to a 3rd fight, I think, because this comp is just not there for grouping up and rolling over 1 point. They need to have the long sustained fights and try and pick the matchups that they can actually win.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of difficult.
PhD is over there, and much was there.
Has he switched sides?
Getting confused now. Join up, guys. Okay, so Fire, how can the Red Team come back on this? Now, it's not too bad in terms of. It's very, very, very tanky teams, but the thing is, Blue are actually doing a very good job at the moment with how they're playing. In terms of, actually, you know, Kubo's doing a nice job with that. Who's running focus, wasn't he? Yeah, he was doing a good job with that focus. A sigil of leeching, I'm still not massively sure about, but their focus damage on points and actually putting the people in the right matchups, i.e. PhD versus Chunji, was a very, very good idea. I'm not sure why PhD is on Red Team. Okay, it's changed now, but that was the correct way to go. So they, you know, they didn't pick up a node actually until about 60 or so points into the game, which, you know, was not the best, but then they actually got their matchup sorted out. They put that big one between PhD and Chunji is a big thing for them. That is actually really, really good. Chunji's kind of useless when it comes when conditions come into it. He's not going to be able to do. He's going to be able to survive a lot more than a normal engineer, but he's going to have a lot of issues. We're lacking damage. That's pretty much what it is for Red Team at the moment. And like you said, committing 4 versus 3 to try and kill them, even in that situation, you know, you could really tell that that was the issue.
Yeah, one of the issues. But, well, the blue team, there were 2 situations where they really just comfortably sustained 1 fight while winning 2 other fights. And that just shows you how they really managed to outmatch the individual fights.
They had the right people. I mean, they had Carver on point at mid doing the damage, the main bulk of the damage. Amsterdam was clearing conditions for him. Quve was on point trying to do some damage as well. Honey was on the other node just holding it for then. She could have even gone over. And then we had obviously the Condi warrior versus the engineer, which is always going to be a good matchup for the warrior in that situation.
Let's see how the second game plays out. We are in the quarterfinals, still first match of the day for us here on stream. We have SPL on the red side and Salt currently in the lead with 1 win on the blue side.
ChroNickGamer taking over that mine at the moment as Carver comes in to contest that. Over on the mid, we see Dipset, Guns and Tools versus Honey presently. We are going to see PhD waddling his way over there as he starts to make a bit of a slight delayed move towards that point. Amsterdam and Quive versus Muchbo, Zerx and Curve over on the waterfall. The only person really who's quite low is Honey, because she's been in that 1v2 situation for quite a long time. So many conditions coming out. She's going to be knocked out of that fight. And we are going to see the swap out PhD again. Look, here we go. That's the matchup they want to do, and they're doing it very well. They're putting the right players up
but they
against
sacrifice Honey. Are they really going to sacrifice the midpoint? No, Carver now going on there. They weren't really committing to getting that, not really CCing Carver, and Carver just had his eye on killing somebody there. Was a bit maybe too focused on trying to get that, but still manages to get on point fast enough, because an early mid cap, that would really be horrible for them. PhD again, brilliant matchup, nice rotation with that one. ChroNickGamer already having troubles in the cap, almost going to the blue team. There we go, ChroNickGamer disengaging now, going towards the midpoint. And what? How did the mid cap happen?
I missed that actually, to be fair. Well, Honey came in. I mean, Carver probably disengaged. Yeah, he just went to waterfall. He thought, you know what, screw this. I'm not going to die and give them node. In 1v2, I'm going to die in the end. No one's close to being respawned. No one's going to be able to come support me. And we did get quarry. So they're making a sensible decision rather than going for mid. They've pushed PhD into mid because, guess who's there? ChroNickGamer. He's going to be there every time. So ChroNickGamer is always going to have problems in that fight. So they need to try and either support him or pull him out and try and force a different 1v1. But, you know, rotating
the battle standard didn't quite bring up Curve. They, I think, might have been out of range, actually. No, wait, battle standard from whom?
That was from either Much. No, it wasn't from Much. Sorry.
He was somewhere entirely different.
It was from Amsterdam,
so it was from the blue team. Okay, so
yeah,
really smart move there, actually. I was questioning the decision to leave the midpoint alone just for a second, because it's just such a valuable point.
I mean, the thing is overcommittal, you know.
Yeah.
You don't want to. They didn't need to. Now they can engage mid freely, and no one's going for decaps other than ChroNickGamer. And then, you know, Honey's versus ChroNickGamer at the moment. So the switch out might be coming. Switch out, it's good now because Guns and Tools is out of the fight. So switch up between there. It's happening right now. Oh man, Look at that. PhD's going to come in now. Honey's going to move back to mid, or they're going to 2v1 ChroNickGamer until we see Guns and Tools coming back into a fight.
Well, they are sitting on a pretty comfortable outer point, double cap at the moment, and still having a bit of aggression on the midpoint, just poking them a bit, just to keep them busy there, and not let them engage really completely group up to one of the side points. So they're just going with the outer points. You don't really need the midpoint if you've got those two and if you can sustain it. And by the looks of it, the blue team definitely can. Now maybe red, will they be going for the waterfall? No, it looked like they were grouping up. But they're still a bit busy taking care of the midpoint.
They just want to keep their point. Yeah, they're starting to push across in the node now. Sorry, to the south side towards Quarry. Dipset did go down. Guns and Tools low HP as well. He's going to be killed soon. He's gone down there. Curve and also Muchbo Zerx not really in a position to try and help him there. Honey's stuck over on the waterfall. We are going to see Amsterdam just watching the mid fight happen as he starts to jump in, as it engages into a 2v2 4v2 now in favor, 4v3 in favor of the blue team. We are going to see Carver jump out of that fight as well, just watching the waterfall. Look at that perfect timing as Dipset starts to move back towards the waterfall, knowing that that respawn time is coming up. He's going to start to engage him. ChroNickGamer coming over to the waterfall as well. He wants to avoid PhD like the plague. But you know, he's going to start to move over to wherever he is at some point.
So now the engage is coming on the waterfall. We do have one backpoint defender, that is Curve, although Curve also going aggressive. Do you really want to leave the midpoint alone? Nope, doesn't look like it. So waterfall is going to be the next point of engage. They are already pretty far with the decap. No, Quoth didn't quite make it on point there. Was he immobilized? Decap coming through, and now we might see a big fight that could really pay off. We have a 100-point lead currently for exactly 100 points. Well, 1 point off for the blue team at the moment, and there is still room. We have 10 minutes on the clock, 150 points standing in the enemy's Lord Hall.
Yeah, I mean, oh, Guns and Tools going down though over here is not a good thing for them. They want to try and win the fights as soon as possible. Mid has been decapped there as well, so blue getting the only points on the board, so that's not going to help them at all at the moment. We are going to see ChroNickGamer trying to run over towards the quarry as Honey is trying to
already on his way. PhD's already on his way. He is just going to walk past Curve, I feel.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Oh no, maybe not.
Maybe stack a couple of conditions to help out. Because Honey can sustain it for a bit.
Oh yeah, she can hold it for a little bit, yeah. I mean, she can knock him off point before, you know, but look.
Oh, but the awkwardly placed minecart just knock her over it.
Yeah, it just went over the gravel part of that minecart, I think, unfortunately. But now we've got the 3 contested nodes with 120 or so points left. Between the teams at the moment. We have seen a down coming out on the other side of the map, Dipset in the down state. At the moment, Xerx is not going to have much opportunity to get him up as tons of cleave comes up onto the body. We are going to see him rezzed by a banner there, I do believe. Guns and Tools going down over on mid as well. Not looking good for red team in many situations, having to use a lot of their cooldowns to
and just look at the red bar. The red bars, the conditions are stacking, and the entire team. We have 3 separate team fights, but even in all these 3 fights, they always seem to be just a bit short of winning that.
Yeah, they've gotten over on the waterfall. Let's use this as an example, right? Let's look at Dipset's. He's conditioned, right? Who have we got him against? We've got him against Cueve, and we've got him against Amsterdam. That is not good.
A shout
so
warrior,
much condition removal.
Shout warrior, and an elementalist.
There's so much
that
condition removal there.
Really paying off.
He's doing nothing. Really,
Galva getting the mid one against Curve there. I think had a bit of assistance. PhD is just chasing ChroNickGamer. They are really looking for the best matchups there.
Conditions are really tough in this PvP at the moment, with, like, you know, elementalists and whatnot, and shout warriors and flipping bunker guardians, support guardians. There's so much condi removal that you have to put your players in the right matchups. And a lot of it is like a lot of the power kind of creep of those builds that are kind of really coming out now. We've seen that for a while, and Dips is just not. They're not in the right positions. As I said before, the matchups are not good for them.
We have previously said that the blue team is really rotating well. It's just where they need to be at the right points. But to be honest, it isn't really that hard. And it isn't really that hard to get the favorable matchups here because the red team isn't that mobile. If they commit to a fight, they may as well stay in it because until they move to the next point, that is taking ages. They don't really have the big mobility there.
Yeah. They were doing a lot better with their Ellie, the main focus damage, you know, because they've got no one. I mean, against this blue team as well, they're getting maybe one of their first kills actually onto Honey in this game. I think that's probably the only down we've seen. Really, isn't it?
But Lord Rush over on the Red Lord. Yeah, and it is already finished. They were kind of sneaking that in with 2 people just still having the ball presence to give 2 points neutral, and well, the mid just got decapped. So this was really just a deciding victory here for Salt. Just
indeed.
I mean, equal matchups, won. That's the story of it.
It is pretty much. I mean, their rotations were not good. But you know, that's probably saying more for the blue team because their rotations were good. They knew they could risk those switches up in the games because, you know, sending PhD running across the other end of the map when they're in a 3v4 situation, you know, as an example, is something they could do.
That is just a bit of a freedom that a setup with not that much damage gives you. You can sustain against one person more in a team fight for a bit. And therefore just slowly rotate over. They don't have the great mobility either, but they just have the time. Yeah. The time to sustain the fights.
There's little things in there which are bringing a lot of damage, you know, like the ice bow as an example. You know, that was coming, Frostblade, was coming in at different points in time as well. And it was really good coordination from the blue team. And to be fair, I mean, we've seen them play before, and that was a hell of a lot better than they have played. But previously, it feels like the practice is coming out and getting into these tournaments has done them good, you know. So good combination, and congratulations to them for going through.